The house stood silent. Dark windows stared out like empty eyes. It was a large house, once grand, now decaying. This was 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, a place where evil had taken root. The once vibrant gardens were now overgrown with weeds, and the paint on the walls had long since peeled away, revealing the bare, weathered wood beneath. The air around the house seemed to hum with a sinister energy, as if the very ground it stood on was cursed. The windows, shattered and broken, whispered tales of the horrors that had unfolded within. Neighbors spoke in hushed tones about the strange occurrences, the inexplicable sounds, and the eerie lights that flickered in the dead of night. Inside, the remnants of a once happy family lay scattered. Old photographs, now yellowed with age, depicted smiling faces, unaware of the darkness that would soon engulf their lives. The staircase, creaky and worn, seemed to groan under the weight of unseen footsteps. Each step taken within this house felt like a journey into the past, a past filled with unspeakable terror. A single candle flickered in the darkness, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. It was as if the house itself was alive, breathing, waiting for its next victim. Under the pale light of the full moon, the house loomed like a sentinel of dread, a reminder of the malevolent forces that had once, and perhaps still, resided within its walls. Years before, the DeFeo family lived there. They seemed happy, normal, but something went wrong, terribly wrong. One night, Ronald DeFeo Jr., the eldest son, murdered his entire family. A year later, the Lutz family moved in. They were a young couple with children, hoping for a fresh start. They got more than they bargained for. Strange things began almost immediately. Foul odors, despite the clean air, cold spots even in warm rooms. The Lutz family, consisting of George and Kathy Lutz, along with Kathy's 3 children from a previous marriage, were excited about their new home at 112 Ocean Avenue. The house was spacious, beautiful, and seemed perfect for their blended family. They were eager to settle in and make it their own. George, a former Marine, took on the task of making home improvements, while Kathy focused on creating a warm and welcoming environment for the children. They envisioned a future filled with happy memories and new beginnings. However, their dream home soon turned into a nightmare. It started with small, inexplicable occurrences. The family would notice strange, foul odors that seemed to come from nowhere. Despite the house being impeccably clean, they would feel sudden, chilling cold spots in rooms that were otherwise warm and comfortable. These unsettling phenomena were just the beginning. As days turned into weeks, the disturbances grew more frequent and intense. Doors would slam shut on their own, and mysterious noises echoed through the halls at night. The children began to have terrifying nightmares, waking up in the middle of the night, screaming in fear. George, who had always been a rational and level-headed man, found himself becoming increasingly agitated and paranoid. He would wake up at exactly 3:15 a.m. every night, feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. Kathy, too, felt the oppressive atmosphere weighing heavily on her. Despite their best efforts to maintain a sense of normalcy, the Lutz family couldn't escape the growing sense of unease that permeated their home. They began to question their decision to move into the house, wondering if they had made a terrible mistake. The once promising new beginning had turned into a relentless nightmare. The Lutz family was trapped in a house that seemed to have a life of its own, and they were left to wonder what sinister forces were at play within the walls of 112 Ocean Avenue. The Lutz children felt it most. Missy, the youngest, spoke of an imaginary friend, a friend with red eyes. Doors slammed shut on their own. Objects moved. The family was living in a nightmare. Then came the voices, whispers at first, then growing louder. George Lutz, the father, heard them too. Demands to get out. The voices seemed to come from the walls themselves. The family tried to stay, tried to rationalize, but the fear was too much. After 28 days, they fled, leaving everything behind. They never returned. The house on Ocean Avenue stood empty again, but the story didn't end there. Other families tried to live there. None could stay. The stories continued. Cold spots, bad smells, the feeling of being watched. Was it all true? The Lutz family swore it was. Their story became a book, then a film, the Amityville Horror. A legend was born, a legend of a house possessed by something dark, something evil, something that still haunts our nightmares. The tale of the Amityville house is one that has captivated and terrified audiences for decades. It all began in 1975 when George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children, moved into the seemingly idyllic home at 112 Ocean Avenue. Little did they know their dream home would soon become a living nightmare. The Lutz family claimed to experience a series of horrifying events during their 28-day stay. Strange noises echoed through the halls. Foul odors filled the air, and mysterious cold spots appeared throughout the house. George Lutz reported waking up at 3:15 a.m. every night, the exact time the previous owner, Ronald DeFeo Jr., had murdered his family a year earlier. The connection to the DeFeo murders added a chilling layer to the Lutz's story. They believed the house was haunted by malevolent spirits, possibly the restless souls of the DeFeo family. Paranormal investigators were called in, and they too reported strange occurrences, further fueling the legend. Skeptics, however, questioned the validity of the Lutz's claims. Some suggested it was a hoax, a way to profit from the tragedy that had occurred. Despite the controversy, the story of the Amityville horror has endured, inspiring countless books, movies, and documentaries. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, the tale of the Amityville house remains a powerful reminder of the thin line between reality and the unknown. It challenges us to question what we believe and to confront the darkness that may lurk just beyond the edge of our understanding. The Amityville horror is more than just a story. It's a legend that continues to cast a long, enduring shadow over our collective imagination.